face of poison. Kick your face of poison.
Well, if you're not at Tony Rose Arena tonight, you messed up. Game number 7 underway between the Orangeville Northmen and the Mimico Mountaineers. We got a face-off violation, handing Orangeville the ball here to start. This is an electric atmosphere. Matthew Carrick, Jonathan Donville, the JVI Sports Network in the house. Joey Spallina to trade Deer all the way across. Dylan Sanderson will shoot for the 5-hole on Whittam, and he makes the stop.
Matty, standing room only implies that there's room for somewhere to stand.
Yes.
There is no room left in Tony Rose. Half of Etobicoke is here. Most of Orangeville is here. Game 7, best thing in sports.
No patch of grass is safe from the parking situation out front. They're still trying to make their way in as Dudemain will push it back up top. Isaiah Moran-Weeks on the run shot, and that might have gone through the legs of Siapara, but not. Connor O'Toole.
A good look to start from Moran Weeks, who's had a really, really good OJLL finals here as Jackman goes to work. He's dangerous in these ISO scenarios.
Ryan Jackman, the trade deadline acquisition from the Oakville Buzz. He'll cut back one more time. 10 to shoot all the way up top. Joey Spallina. That one off of Aaron Taguri and down to the floor.
Good eat. Don't rub it.
You better get that line queued up tonight. I have a feeling it's going to be used a fair amount as these two defenses have really stepped up as this final series has gone on. Mimico winning last night to force this deciding game here this evening. Alex Roussel from the half boards over the top. He'll look to the far side. Justin Tavares looks off. Dudemain goes to the crease. Low shot. O'Toole makes the save. 2
good looks here for Mimico on their first 2 possessions. 2 good saves by O'Toole. We've talked a lot about keys throughout the year, Matty. 3 things to watch for tonight. Loose balls, goaltending, and who can get to the middle of the floor on offense.
I think these first 10 minutes, maybe even 5, will say a lot for who's going to be punching their ticket to the Minto Cup at the end of the evening. Bowie Horseman on the run, off the end boards. We've seen Trey Deer score like this before through the double team one-hand shot. Not this time.
McDonald and Deer getting into it behind the play here. As Deer's coming back, so maybe numbers here for Mimico. They got a late change as well.
Controlling the emotions also going to be a key. We've seen guys uncharacteristically go to the box throughout this series, including a couple times last night.
Yeah, and same officiating crew as last night as well, so expect the precedent to continue that was set last night.
That's Ian Garrison, Mark Thompson, and Chris Williams. The 3 officials working this Game 7. Jaden Siapara. Up to Jackman, who's running cross floor. Orangeville Northmen in their white jerseys with black trim going left to right in this first period. Mimico off the visitors' bench defending as well. Big head fake from Liam Matthews, going to draw the holding call from Ben McIsaac. He doesn't like it, but the first power play of the game goes to the home side.
Good take by Liam Matthews here. McIsaac's going to get called for a hold. Been saying it all year, but this is where Matthews does his best work, is getting underneath, face dodge, toe drag, doesn't matter. He's very slippery going underneath. Gets McIsaac with one hand on his stick here. As the first power play coming up for the Northmen, they're going to go that strong right look.
Watch for the outside shot from Spallina or down to the crease for Trey Deer. Right now in the stick of Liam Matthews, Spallina has it, cuts back, fakes the shot. Still not coming. Switches topside with Horseman. Bowie Horseman from long range, and Nate Whittam makes another good save.
Great shift by Aiden McDonnell there, and now Whittam's going to have to chuck this. Wow, makes a nice touch pass to Taguri.
Jordan Vincent was in the area as well, and slamming on the brakes. Taguri fell! Ball to Vincent! And Mimico draw first blood.
What a goal here by Vincent. Taguri's going to catch a nice pass from Wyndham and then run himself into trouble. Yeah, Edwards comes right off the bench. If Taguri doesn't slip there, he's just double teamed and the ball's going the other way. He slips, loses the ball. Vincent's there to pot another one. Scored last night, and he's going to be looking to score off every, especially on the penalty kill. He's looking to go every time. So if you're Orangeville, you got to find him. That's just a crazy bounce in favor of Mountaineers.
Let me tell you, it is so loud in here. Good contingent, as we said, of Mimico fans. Good contingent of Northmen fans as well. Here's Trey Deer in front, behind the back. Nice pass. Even better pickup, perhaps, for Jackman. He'll go cross floor to Spallina. Matthews is open, shoots, and that finds the end boards. Bouncing to Horseman. He's going to run out of time on the shot clock.
Hard to say exactly what percentage of the crowd is from each team, but it feels like the total is so high it doesn't really matter. There's a significant support section for both, as good press right on the line by Stokes and Ciapera create another turnover. So Orangeville going to get another full look on this power play.
Graydon Stokes, the lineup change from last night. Sean Costigan out. Graydon Stokes in.
Yeah, a little more size. I think a little more size to deal with Waters and Duderman is probably the thinking there.
Here's Spallina up top. No changes for Mimico from one night ago. Liam Matthews. Long range shot. That one missed the mark.
Yeah, Vincent's leaking out again there. Just can't secure the loose ball here, and it's going to be a fresh clock.
Angus McDonnell was a few steps over center as well. Had Vincent brought that one down. Spallina from the outside. Rips and finds the far post.
I don't know how he found the far post from that angle. But back to even here for Mimico. So a good penalty kill, obviously a +1 penalty kill with the short-handed goal.
Matthews to Spallina on the run. He likes that shot. And this time he goes to the right side of Whittam.
And they're going to give him the reset there as Vincent goes for the change. So one fresh body coming on for Mimico. But a couple of those guys are pretty gassed.
We've seen Mimico real tired by the end of things here in this building in the last couple games. Already seen some tired bodies on that visitors bench. Here's Trey Deer. Over the top, Ben McIsaac goes with him. The shot into the feet of Whittam. Rebound bounces out, and it's McIsaac who's going to pick it up.
Yeah, good D by McIsaac there. That's a good shift. Like, here comes the press, though, from Long. Mimico's got to handle the ball well. Good job there. Talking to Dean George before the game, managing the ball in transition and managing some time score scenario situations was the focus in terms of improvement.
Finn Thompson out to the outside boards. To Lee, they found the cutting. Lucas Dudemain, and O'Toole will make the grab.
29 points in the OJLL finals for Finn Thompson coming to this game, and 29 for Dudemain as well. Second only in scoring to Spallina, who's got 31 in the finals.
We introduced you last night to some of the seniors. It's a big run there. Vincent thought he brought it down, but called for the interference call was Jackman.
I think that's a good call. I think Spallina got there just a half step early.
Here comes Thompson from outside, wants to shoot. Did around the defender, goes back for the rebound. And then got swarmed, still fighting over it. Justin Tavares' first one into the corner. Cameron Pack and Elijah Edwards in there for the Northmen.
What a great sequence from O'Toole there. Two big saves on Mimico's best player.
They have signaled reset. Someone's got it. It's Isaiah Moran-Weeks. Introduce you to the 21-year-olds who 28 of them in this series. Big portion perhaps playing their last Junior A game. And it's the player who's got a couple years left, Justin Tavares, who puts Mimico up 2-0.
It starts with the loose ball from Moran-Weeks. Extra possessions, Matty, something we've been talking about all year. So big loose ball battle, Moran-Weeks wins, and then the nice one-handed flip pass by Dudemain. Tavares buries it. Why do they have to support to that flip pass? Because Dudemain has been such a challenge getting to the goal. So he draws two, flips it back, and Tavares, who was lights out in that Peterborough series, hasn't scored quite as much in this series, gets a huge one in the Ontario Finals, Game 7.
Ball played up into Nate Ruff. He took a couple games off in this series, now slotting back in. Dylan Sanderson also missed a couple early on. We played almost 7.5 minutes, 2-0 Mimico. Spallina over to Sanderson. Dylan Sanderson one-on-one with Taguri. He'll cut back, turns and shoots and scores.
This is a huge momentum play. I can't hear myself talk.
No.
A huge momentum play by Sanderson. And how many of his plays are on this cutback move? Just going to put his foot in the ground. This one's a spin move. And then a sick-looking twister. And what a big goal that is for Orangeville. That gets the crowd right back into it.
Yes.
Gets them right back within one. And it felt like they needed a play there. If that got to 3 or 4-0, it didn't feel great for the home side. So a huge play. We mentioned the 28-year-olds. It's a rookie that makes the first big play for Orangeville.
Elijah Edwards coming up over center.
I think I said 28-year-olds. 28, 21-year-olds.
There you go. Jackman, one of those. Bringing it down into the corner. They will cheer for anybody wearing a Hornheads jersey in this barn. But there's some last names that mean more. Matthews trying to put his name in that conversation. We're tied.
It is surreal loud in here. Matthews got going last game. Played pretty well, I thought, had a hat trick. Just steps back and reaches with that underhand, three-quarter underhand release to the far side. Momentum is fickle. Been saying that all playoffs. Took a little bit of heat for that line today, but it proves to be true again. 2-0 just a minute ago. Orangeville right back in this game.
Now Mimico trying to run that transition off the face-off as they've done so well throughout this playoff series. Finn Thompson knocked down. They'll get a fresh 30.
Yes, Jake Spalina threw that back intentionally, thinking maybe that Bowen was there, just went too far in the corner, and Thompson able to earn a loose ball foul.
Spalina on the board, points-wise already. And look out, his brother Jake headed down floor.
Might have saved the goal there by Finn Thompson. Jake was gone. He was absolutely off to the races there. They were not going to get to him from the bench.
We'll start having the conversation about who the playoff MVP is. That'll be handed out at the end of the night. You would think if Mimico wins, Finn Thompson's name is going to be pretty high on that list. He'll pass down to Tavares now. He turns and shoots, and O'Toole with the clean catch. Another pretty good candidate.
Yeah, good settle in here by O'Toole. After that first one, he probably wanted back by Vincent. Made a bunch of nice saves since then. His numbers for the Northmen.
Ben McIsaac over to Dudemain. Getting word we are at capacity. I don't know what capacity is.
Whatever we have here right now, I guess.
Roussel over to Dudemain. Quick shot from Moran Weeks. It bounces right back to Roussel, though. Another one off the boards. Lee's going to get a chance. Finally, they hit the mark, but O'Toole's there.
Not sure that would have counted. That looked pretty late in the shot clock to me. Just not able to get those shots on target by Mimico.
I don't think anybody could have heard it.
No.
Anyways, 31 seconds between goals for the Northmen. Have them tied up here 2-2 as we near the halfway mark. Make it 3-2. Trainier with the lead.
$12 goals, 10 assists for Deere in this series. Make it 13. It's been Orangeville's second leading scorer behind Spalina, both in the series and in the playoffs. And a lot of his goals look like that. Really loves to reach around his defenders and has the ability in his wrist to yank it back. And a great run here now for the Northmen. 3 in a row, and it's their ball again. This is a money possession now, especially for Mimico. After the goal, you're getting a run going again, so you got to find a way to get a stop. If you're Orangeville, foot on the gas, try to lift the roof off this building.
Spalina and Matthews are second points, and Joey Spalina! He wants more from this crowd. I don't know if the building can handle it.
Bouncer cheese, Matty. One of the prettiest shots in the game. I'll say it every time because it's still true. Sanderson sets a bit of a pick there, and then this is just a seeing eye shot. Little Cuse on Cuse crime. Spallina pulled up right in Jordan Vincent's face. Finds that top right corner. That's a money possession won by Orangeville, and you can hear what that does.
Whittam immediately called for the water break. Crowd behind him chanting for Power. Adam Power, the backup netminder for Mimico. Saw him in game number 1 in this series, but not since. Saw Lyndon Hill back in game number 4, I believe it was, in Mimico. And again, not since. Dudemain passing back for Tavares. Tavares flips to Lucas. Dudemain who snipes! What is going on?
Man, this is legendary stuff right now from these two teams. I mentioned Dudemain, 29 points, tied with Finn Thompson just in this series. And this is basically an exact reverse of their first goal. It's going to be Tavares down the alley, flip pass back to Dudemain, who finds that lefty shot. That's a money possession after a goal won by Mimico. You hear it in here a lot quieter than it was 30 seconds ago. So the momentum shifts continue here through the first period.
Yeah, Mimico fans trying to make
Look
their
out
presence
here. Here's
known,
the press
but
again. Sorry, man.
I do think they're in the minority. Here's Aiden McDonnell, stripped from behind Cameron Pack. Now Aiden Long will turn it over. Pack sets a screen to take Finn Thompson out of the play. And Cole Teeple will bring it across center.
His 14th goal of the series. Game 7, his 14th goal. Shows you the kind of pace that Dudemain's been on.
Of the series.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Sanderson in front trying to find Bowie Horseman on the crease. 5 left to shoot. Trey Deer trying to send it back in that direction. And it bounced wide, and I don't think Orangeville's going to have time. Yes, they do. Horseman got it in, and it was bouncing in the crease of Whittam.
That looked late to me again on the shot clock, kind of similar to Mimico's. Takes a crazy bounce off Whittam. Luckily, if you're a Mountaineer fan, that stays out. Good size advantage for Dudemain on Barnett. See if they try to isolate that. It's going to be for Waters now.
After a pair of goals in 31 seconds, the next two in 12, and Thompson right on the doorstep.
What a save.
Denied by O'Toole.
Save.
He's been making those all playoffs long. Moran Weeks across. Mark Waters wants to go to the rack, and does, and we are tied once again.
This is crazy, Matty. What a start to this game. I got chills being in the building tonight. And notice the size advantage here, as you're going to see the save first by Thompson. Notice the size advantage with Dudemain and Waters on their two defenders, and Waters just takes Barnett to the goal. They're so difficult to handle. It's rare that you can have two guys who are 6'2", 6'3" on one side of the floor, and that's the luxury Mimico has.
And they also get to split across as dropping the shoulder there. Tavares goes down on Edwards.
Yeah, as Edwards saying, you're not the only one with the size advantage here. I'm the Jerome Benesu.
Waters from Moran Weeks, the second point of the game for Moran Weeks. Outside shot, Horseman. Whittam will hang on. No transition this time. Mimico goes to Angus McDonnell. Jackman on him as they try for another 8-second count.
Been better. Hasn't always felt good for Mimico on the clears tonight, but fewer turnovers than they had last night when it was really an issue for them.
Alex Roussel.
Expect Orangeville to stay hard on the press, though.
Sorry, Donnie. Waters will cut through. Ball bouncing and does go over and back. Dante Bowen will be the benefactor here.
Yeah, and Waters not a guy that you want to see get going if you're Orangeville. He's adding another hot stick into that mix. He's done his scoring in bunches throughout the playoffs.
Had a couple last night. Spallina to Trey Deer. Backs into pressure. Look out for him in this range. He can do dramatic things. Turns and fires that one. Just sailed off to the right of Whittam. Now Sanderson gets stood up. Shot clock sounds.
I think you got to send help when Deere gets into those post-up scenarios. We've seen him score so many times, and there's just no way you can expect defenders to hang with his fakes, his behind-the-back plays, his step-backs. If he's in those post-ups, I think Mimico's going to have to think about helping.
Over the top. They'll go Tavares into the corner. Can't connect with Moran Weeks. It drops down in front of Aiden Long, who will pick it up and run down the near boards. Has Pack with him, wants to keep going. Thompson stumbled. Mimico wanted a call, none coming. I think that's the right play there. Kerrigan picks it up.
Yeah, that was a slip from Finn Thompson. Another pretty fortunate bounce for Mimico, I'd say, because Long ended up slipping too. Long's going to be an important part of this series, man. I think if you had to look at it overall, Mimico's probably won that transition side of things. If Long can get a couple, that's going to really turn the math for Orangeville.
Outside shot, Moran Weeks. That one right into Cole Teeple. From long range, they got to try and beat the shot clock, and they do. Although the rebound into the corner, first one there was Graydon Stokes. Out of the stick of Moran Weeks, bounces back to the netminder. And now Ciapera. Here for Trey Deere. It's been the usual suspects tonight. For Orangeville, can Deere get another? Passes back to the crease where Jackman was, but help arriving quickly. Cole Begley picks up Jackman, harassing him. They come back to the line. McDonnell bounces it ahead, although Bryden Pitt being swarmed now by Bowen. McDonnell gets free, shoots, and O'Toole there to grab it one more time.
Yeah, that's another good bounce. That was a desperation play by Pitt. It just McDonnell just happened to find it, but again, the press right over the half line has been big for Orangeville as Horseman gets on the board.
Bowie Horseman off the bench. Trey Deere finds him. And it's the Northmen back on top.
The key here is Horseman recognizes when he's open. Here's the save by O'Toole that's going to set this up. And then on the ensuing possession, Horseman's going to get it. And you're going to see a bit of a slip pick as it comes down the floor. He's going to give it up and just kind of keep going. Kind of looks like he's going the other way and then just gets on the right side of his guy and just says, hey, I'm open. Catch, dunk. Who can get to the middle of the floor, Maddie? That's a good example right there.
Face-off run into here by Edwards. Taguri stops up in front of him. Sanderson, the first one out the O-door. 5-4 now the lead for the Orangeville Northmen. Long across, Spalina. He'll go one-on-one with Vincent. Here comes the pick and the shot, and it's in!
Same shot as his last one here. It's going to look pretty much the exact same. Comes around a pick, but there's no advantage here. It's on Vincent again. They're going to switch it. And he's just getting with him on those bouncers. Bouncing it super early because he's so far out. So it's going really early on the bounce, getting back up to the top corner. That one bounces off with him and in. As we have another 2-goal lead here. So last night we didn't have a 2-goal lead till the third period, and now Orangeville's had a couple of them already through the first period.
I think there's going to be a lot to talk about on both sides here in 4 minutes when they get to the locker rooms. Rarely low-scoring game last night. We're already up to 10. Make it 11. Liam Matthews, stay hot. And a late penalty to follow as Cole Begley takes an untimely shot.
This is just excellent play by Matthews. He's so explosive. Just gets right through the gap here. Gets a step on McIsaac, gets through the gap, and then finishes with the twister. So a 3-goal lead, and then after the goal, Mimico takes a penalty. So it's a 3-goal lead, Orangeville penalty, and it's Orangeville ball. There's no face-off here. As this is a massive first period penalty kill for Mimico.
Back-to-back goals in 22 seconds, make it a 3-goal run in 45. To have the Northmen up 7-4. Correct myself, it was Angus McDonnell that heads off to the box. And as you said, a massive power play right now in the context of this game. Joey Spallina takes top spot. And Whittam will cover up.
Throwing it
immediately
to
looking down floor. Jordan Vincent back there, but so was Horseman.
That was a heat check from Spallina, but why not? Why would you not keep shooting here?
Here's Horseman and Spallina playing catch. Trey Deer will take it. Gives back to the hot hand, Spallina. Horseman, Spallina on the crease. Jackman, no looks it across to Sanderson. Trying to get it quickly back through Horseman. Spallina winding up again, and this one caught by Whittam.
Yeah, and Orangeville's going to take one now. They got a penalty coming to Orangeville here, so 5-on-5 opportunity. Jackman's going to take one.
It'll be a high stick that ran up as he was involved with McIsaac.
Yeah.
And that'll do it for the power play.
But Mimico should try to use as much of this as they can because
Sure.
going to extend their power play time.
It'll be their first of the game, should they get there. Cross here to Thompson. He works off Bow and shoots, and O'Toole having trouble with it and kept it out somehow.
Kept it out barely. That's a good-looking shot from Finn Thompson. What a save here. So what's the scenario? 4-on-4 for 48 seconds, and then a Mimico power play for 1:12 after that. So a good opportunity here. It's going to be interesting to see the matchups Orangeville wants. I think it's going to be Teeple and Edwards on the lefties. Long and Pack on the righties.
Thompson outside Moran Weeks.
Watch the slips here by Moran Weeks and then letting Dudemain go to work.
Moran Weeks trying to open space. Dudemain runs into a double team. Back to the crease. They look for Lee. Dudemain knocked down. Teeple will put it sky high. Races on for it. Looks like Thompson may have had his stick held. The officials are going to let them fight through.
Sick save by O'Toole coming down there.
Lee to Dudemain. Moran Weeks on the crease. Bouncing ball. Big pile up in the crease. Ball goes in, and they're going to wave it off in the crease, but then say it was interference that caused it, so Mimico will keep possession.
Yeah, I think the call there is interference before Lee even potentially picked it up here. As Mimico's got a decision to make now. 15 seconds left on the penalty. So do they want, looks like they're going to wait that 15 and take the 5-on-4 for the last 15 seconds of the possession. As we got the Army coming out here.
Our first wipe down of the game. There's 4 of them here tonight. Gives us a chance to relive some of the magic from number 22 already in this game. Joey Spallina hot ever since May and keeping it going here tonight.
These are different goals we're about to see. They're going to look pretty similar. This one, there's no switch. Vincent gets all the way through it. Bouncer right off his hip. And then the only difference on the next one is as Orange, it's Mimico ball here. Only difference on this one is that there's a switch and then he shoots it around the defender.
Finn Thompson, as you said, waiting out the Mimico penalty. It'll be 1:12 of Mimico power play here as we enter the 2-minute warning, and Bowen trying to blow it up immediately. Goes right at Dudemain. He shrugged him free down to Lee. Roussel can't pick up, and O'Toole was going to wait out the shot clock.
Yeah, Lee's open there. He's probably going to have to shoot that in the future. A little touch pass to Roussel, who's not expecting it. But a good play, I thought, there by Bowen. Low clock, you know they're waiting. Kind of waits it out and jumps it.
Good play by Dante Bowen. Where have I heard that before this season?
Right.
Another graduating player. Spin move back. Backhand shot from Horseman. Comes up to Liam Matthews. He'll also miss off a couple boards and down the floor.
So a big possession here. The last possession of this power play. And just 1:15 left in the period here. So going to try to steal some momentum back from Mimico. If you're Orangeville, you obviously want to keep your foot on the gas and get this thing into intermission with that 3-goal lead.
Moran Weeks to Thompson. Couple fakes. Oh, the behind the back little flip. Man, what are they teaching them at Syracuse? They got all kinds of moves.
Well, who's teaching them? That's the question. And you may have heard of him, and he's done a lot of stuff like that in his career. Gary Gate, arguably the best box player of all time.
Trey Deer trying to remind everybody they can flat out shoot too. As we know from this guy, Spalina on hat-trick watch. Not this time, it bounces into the Mimico bench.
Riley Hutchcraft, coach on the Mimico bench, taking one there. Goody, don't rub it.
Yeah, he's used to that. Normally has a fair amount of extra padding in front of him, though.
He's trying to get hit.
Goalies can't help themselves. 30 seconds left here. Mimico wanting one before the end of the period. They'll put it in the stick of Mark Waters. Out to Dudemain. And why not? He's done most of the damage here in the final. Tried for one more shot. Bowen coming in hot and heavy on Waters. 15 seconds left. Whittam remains in the net. Bowen and Waters one-on-one. Now Siapera coming in to help out, and it's a shot clock violation.
What a shift by Dante Bowen there. Wins the matchup on Waters. We've seen Waters walk around some other guys. Bowen stands him up here.
No timeout. Trey Deer with the clock in front of him reaches around the defender, and Whittam will make one final save before the horn. What a period. What an atmosphere. It's game number 7.
Yeah, it's an important save by Whittam there off a pretty good look by Deer at the end of the period. A little bit of a conversation after that, but honestly not what I expected out of that first period. And especially, I would have thought a higher scoring game probably would have favored Mimico with the pace. Orangeville comes out with hot sticks, and they really shoot well.
We're going to send you to break with the Northmen leading 7-4. Game number 7 here of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Finals, brought to you by Empire Community, Scotiabank, and fueled by Gatorade. Back live in Tony Rose Arena with 11 goals on the board in the first period. Last night it was a quick start for Mimico. It looked like it was going to be the same with Jordan Vincent in transition. Quickly followed up by Justin Tavares, but not to be the case, Jonathan.
Yeah, here's that look on the goal from Tavares. The little flip pass back from Judamain. Tavares rips it home. Remember that because they do the same thing in reverse later in the period. And then from there, it's mostly Orangeville the rest of the period. A 2-0 lead for Mimico. This is just a great individual effort by Dylan Sanderson. That was really a big goal, I felt like, to settle them down, get the crowd back involved here. The next one is going to be Liam Matthews, his first of 2, playing with great jam here throughout the second part of the series. So that brings it back to 2-2, and the run continues as Trey Deere finds an outside shot shooting around his defender, as he so often does. And then the fourth goal of the run is going to be the first goal of the game for Joey Spallina. We've seen this one a couple times already. Comes around the top on his college buddy. Bounce shot to the top corner, a beautiful looking release. At that point, it's now 4-2 for Orangeville. Mimico with the pushback. This is the exact reverse of that second goal. Tavares back to Judamain, who rips it home. Orangeville really trying to push them down the alley. Those flip passes have been effective. Here's a big-time save by Thompson, or on Thompson, by O'Toole, excuse me. And then the last goal of the period for Mimico, just a great individual effort by Mark Waters, who's going to sweep the ice right here. He's fired up. That brought the game back to a tie. For the rest of the period, it's all Orangeville. Boy Horseman say, wait a minute, I'm wide open here. Give me the rock. He stuffs in the goal. Cornell guy, not a big deal. And then Syracuse guy, our rivals just up the road, is going to come around. Again, a carbon copy of his first one. Comes around, a good pick by Ron. Bouncer off the crossbar, off Whittam's back, and in. Last goal of the period is going to be a Liam Matthews. Another Liam Matthews goal. Notice his ability to get a small step right here and turn it into a big step. Just bends the corner on Makajic and finishes it off. A very, very good period for the Northmen here, 7-4.
But of those 7 goals, Jonathan, the first 2 come in 31 seconds, 12 seconds between the next 2, and then a run of 3 in 45. I think that's going to be the key here. We talked about it last night, that neither team really able to get big sustained runs here in this final series. Whether Mimico can answer or whether Orangeville can go again is what's going to be the telling thing in about 40 minutes.
Well, it feels like the game's hanging in the balance here a little bit. If it gets to 4, 5, 6, it's going to be a real challenge. That's really going to let Orangeville pack it in. So a big pushback needed. When I talked to Dean George before the game, he said they're worried about weathering that first storm from Orangeville, knowing that they're going to come out hot with the home crowd. Hard to really say if they did that, right? They weathered it right at the start, but then obviously the first period in general with a sizable advantage for Orangeville. So Mimico has been really good in the second period. They're going to run with a lot of their transition-type guys going left to right on your broadcast screen. Expect McDonnell and Tavares to really push. They're going to be away from the bench. Those are the guys that are going to push here. But a crucial 5 minutes to see if we're getting back towards a tie or if Orangeville can really break this thing open.
A long way from now, I should say, end of the game. Stick with us. We'll have the presentation of the Iroquois Trophy, which is in the building yet again, as well as the playoff MVP to be announced tonight at the end of the game. But first, Orangeville going right to left here in this second period. This is traditionally where they take off, especially in this building. And Spallina trying to do that. Whittam made the catch. Mimico can push transition, like you said, of their own, though.
Yeah, again, for viewers who might be watching us for the first time this year, the home bench at Tony Rose Arena for Orangeville are usually far down into the corner. So those lefties coming off the gate have a great angle as Judamain gets a wide open look. Great save by O'Toole. Now it's Roussel who scores!
I'm going home, Donnie.
I got caught up in what I was saying, and then things started happening.
Another good start for Mimico here. Watch.
And Judamain loves this. He'll just shove his guy, and they'll throw it in. It's got to be a set piece because the ball's coming right away. And then Roussel I looked at his numbers today. 7 goals in the playoffs for Orangeville, or for Mimico, but feels like he scored some big ones here. So
right.
A guy that does a lot of the little things well for Mimico comes up with a massive goal there. Can they start chipping away at the rest of the 2 goals here? I mentioned the next one was going to be big. Roussel gets it going the way of Mimico.
And it's got the Mimico fans back in it as well. They've got the cowbells and the vuvuzelas. We got drums and air horns on the other side for the Northmen. And, of course, a whole lot of voices and clapping as they do right on cue for Liam Matthews' hat-trick goal.
Another one going underneath for Matthews. He goes with that twister look. It's worked a lot for him. This is the key, that little toe drag right there. He burns guys on that all the time. And 7 has come to play tonight. Probably wishes he's, for a little bit more production throughout this series. It's all about what you do in the biggest games, and he's having one tonight.
He is one of those guys that it ended in tears last year.
Right.
Burlington Blaze making the trip to Alberta, coming back with a banner. And there's a bunch of guys on that home bench tonight that do not want to repeat.
Matty, 2 years ago, the 22 Mountaineers were the 1 seed. They lost to Burlington in that series. So these teams have been through, the leaders on these teams, these 21-year-olds have been through some of the tougher playoff moments that we've seen. So what an arc to this story for one of these 2 teams to lift the trophy in their last game.
Lucas Dudemain to the outside. They go back across the floor. Justin Lee one-on-one with Sia Perry. Here comes the screen from Roussel. Knocked his man down. Roussel open as a result. Tries to go low on O'Toole, and we had a big pile-up as Roussel got collected there. Sia Perry getting his revenge. Dante Bowen looking for Trey Deer out the front door.
Yeah, letting him play as well. Wonder if that's going to be a sign of a little bit more of a tighter whistle here in the finals. Let the guys duke it out, because I thought it could have been moving screen, could have been a behind the back on the shot.
Spallina rips for his hat trick.
Another outside shot from Joey Spallina. The kid just hits shots. There's not a whole lot else you can say from pretty much the same spot as we've seen. Elects not to go with the bouncer. Goes to the overhand short side cheese. Beautiful looking shot.
And Alumni Corner may get their wish here. Looks like Adam Power getting dressed to take over for Nate Whittam as it's 9-5, 2 minutes into this second period.
What a moment to enter this game.
Goodness.
Right? Probably the craziest atmosphere building I've ever seen in summer lacrosse. And in the visiting side, Adam Power is not going to have a lot of friendly fans behind him right now.
Yeah, he will be welcomed into this game, but not the way that he would probably like to be greeted. Right. Going back to these 2 teams, though, if you want to go back before the COVID break, Mimico played in the 2017 Minto Cup. They were not the Ontario champions. They were runners-up to Six Nations. 2019, the banner came back to Tony Rose when Orangeville went. Pair of goals now 49 seconds apart for the Northmen. Hobbs loses the ball and his stick and everything else up and over the glass. Good thing that was in friendly territory.
I was just thinking the same thing. If that was 10 feet to the left of us in the more Mimico section,
that one would be on Marketplace in 8 seconds.
Yeah, that stick might be on Highway 10.
There'd probably be about 4 pieces of it. Oh, boy. Trey Deer from outside. That one misses Power.
And Power's got to do a job here. There's no doubt about it. He's got to settle this ship. It's been a race to 10 for this series, and Orangeville's already at 9. So the math is not obviously in favor of Mimico.
Connor O'Toole, Lyndon Hill, 2 21-year-olds. As Tavares comes in on the first of those and scores. Was just going to say Whittam and Power not graduating, but it's the youngster again, Justin Tavares.
I mentioned Gary Gate, probably the greatest box player of all time. If there's someone in contention, it's John Tavares. His son, Justin Tavares, with his second goal of the game. Goes to work on Bowie Horseman. Again, Tavares and a couple other Mimico guys will play from defense to offense. That's a good example there. Gets covered up by the offensive player Horseman. Goes to work on him, and now it's 9-6. Mimico with a chance to get back in the game.
As does Nate Whittam. Adam Power back to the bench, so it was just a quick reprieve for the Mimico starter. 9-6 looks a lot better than 9-5, doesn't it? If you're a fan of the Mountaineers, Edwards lost that face off. He'll pick it back up.
Numbers
and look
here.
at, there's three coming down. Pack long, and Edwards who pots it.
And now what do you do if you're Dean George? You take Whittam out and put it back in.
Pray.
He's gonna get some leash here, it looks like. I mentioned loose balls. Who's gonna pick up loose balls? One of the three things to watch here. Edwards does it on this play. And a timeout call, interesting timeout call here from Mimico, just to try to settle his group down. Maybe give a chance for Riley Hutchcraft to talk to their goaltender as well. Just try to settle him down a little bit.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. Dean George rallies everybody. Hutchie did take a step to his right, which is where Whittam's going to come to the bench here.
And Power's putting his gear back on here, so I think Power's going to be coming back in. Going to look at the last two goals here. So first one, again, Tavares going from defense to offense. Actually, this is going to be the last Orangeville goal here. Spalina just ripping it to the top corner. And then this is Edwards, the massive loose ball. That's a hidden play. Well, this is a play that everyone can see. Running the break, scoring to the short side. A massive goal for Elijah Edwards.
And it is Power. You just got a glimpse of him.
Just his second goal, third point of the playoffs.
Wow.
So
wow.
It has been, Matty, most of the usual suspects tonight. Edwards putting his name in there as well.
Picks up another face-off over to Cameron Pack. Passes down the boards to Trey Deer.
I mentioned, by the way, if Orangeville can win the transition game, that's obviously going to be important. That brings it basically to 1-1. We had the Vincent goal and then the one by Edwards.
Over the top, first time we've called Owen Ron's name tonight. Called Matthews a lot more. And that one in the crease.
Yeah, that was going to be in the crease regardless, but a nice save by Power. It's got to feel good just to take one and feel like you're making a save here. Mimico's got to get back on the kind of initiation here, really start taking the game to Orangeville again. It's just that same play. Judamain's just too big inside.
And another rebound bouncing in front. Lee just couldn't hang on to it. That's been the story the last couple games. Mimico getting good chances off those rebounds.
Yeah, and no sub here for Orangeville, so a repeat possession now on its higher defense. Judamain calling for it with a lot of space. See if he can go to work here on Poirier. Isolation situation here.
One-on-one, now help comes over in the form of Nate Ruff. Back to Roussel, that little toe drag move once again. Poirier couldn't pick up cleanly, although Dante Bowen does, and they've got Ruff down floor. Judamain perhaps did enough to slow things up, allowing Taguri to get in good position.
Yeah, might have saved a goal there. Judamain trips a little bit at the end, but might have saved a goal. 5-on-4 advantage here for Orangeville. They can see it.
Running through, that's Matthews. I think first touch for Power in his two trips into that crease down to our left. Got to think he's there to stay now. And Dean George has used the switch twice, used the timeout. Here's Finley Thompson to Justin Tavares. Tavares outside, one-on-one with Spalina. He'll send a twister over to Roussel. On the run, that shot wide of the net. And Long immediately turned up floor. And when they didn't get the quick restart, peeled off to the bench.
Yeah, favorable call there for Orangeville. I thought Edwards probably had that in his stick. Bounces out. They say he never picked it up. So Stokes gets essentially a free clear.
Up top, Jackman. trying to get away from McIsaac, turns and fires. That one hit Power up high. And speaking of high, that's where that pass goes up into the rafters.
Bad bounce there for Mimico. They got to get back in, though, as McIntyre was off to the races there. That won't be the last time he's going to go.
Goodness, it looks like standing room only upstairs as well. Told you the atmosphere was incredible here tonight. Spallina rolls off top spot, and Power with a shrug save, catching that on the left shoulder pad.
Yeah, they've told folks if you leave at intermission, you will not be allowed back in the building. So we are at capacity.
I kind of wanted to test that, but at the same time, you did well enough on play-by-play on that goal. We could deal with it. Little cut move back to the inside. Open for Thompson. He thinks he's open again. Waters, though. Stutter stepping outside, only 4 to shoot. Turns and does, but it's over top of O'Toole and ends up in the safety netting.
Good set by Cam Pack there, 55 on defense. Good defender for the Northmen, and great job there on Waters.
Down into the corner, Liam Matthews. One-on-one with Taguri. He'll spin back. Matthews with 4.
And Mimico's going to take another penalty after the goal. Again, Matthews just having himself a night here in Game 7. Just going to work on Taguri. Not much else you can say. You got to give him some gap because he's so quick and explosive getting to the goal. Taguri gets caught sitting back just a little bit, and Matthews shoots through him. And like we said, another after-the-goal penalty by Mimico. So this will be another no face-off power play advantage here for Orangeville, as this game has a real chance to get away from Mimico here.
Spallina, you can see how he's feeling it, bouncing around right by that face-off circle. He wanted the restart, as now the crowd gets on the back of Adam Power. Bowie Horseman to Spallina. Down in the corner, Sanderson will go back to 22. Now Trey Deer, Spallina. Vincent not going to let his Syracuse teammate shoot. Back to the corner, Matthews. Spallina does get one away. And they're signaling for the over and back. Sanderson chases it down to the boards. Spallina going to howitzer again, and that one with a couple seconds. It'll be hung on to by Whittam.
If you're Mimico, the focus has to be you can't get everything back at once. So it really has to start with the loose balls. You got to earn loose balls, got to earn more possessions, and try to play less defense, obviously, in turn with that. But you're not going to get it back at once. Try to chip it down to a couple goals by the third period. That's the focus if you're Mimico. If you're Orangeville, foot on the gas, put this thing away when you have a team on the brink here.
Up by 5, 11-6 with 50 seconds left to go in their power play. 12:20 to go here in the second period. Spallina to Bowie Horseman. Horseman will set the screen across floor, looking for Matthews. Hot hand, does it again!
One more is going to be the sock trick here, as Orangeville is rolling. Side seal for Spallina. Horseman's going to work through to Matthews. McIsaac tries to jump it. Matthews takes what he gives him and throws that twister that's gone for him a lot this year, especially on the power play.
Liam Matthews, a night to remember with 5 goals. He's got 6 points, but so does Spallina, 3 and 3 for number 22. It's a 4-point night, for Bowie Horseman.
Numbers here. McDonnell's open there.
Tavares will take it, however. Back over the fan. And his shot ended up in the corner. Back for Hobbs. Nicely timed by Edwards. Got a little forearm shiver up into the face mask at the end of that play.
So a 6-goal lead now. Orangeville kind of they sense the blood in the water here a little bit. Mimico's got to get some stops and make some plays. Try to work their way back into this game. Spallina's open here.
Still calling for it. Still wide open up top. Spallina finally gets the ball and is immediately greeted thereby billing and not gonna matter.
When you're hot, you're hot. It's the best feeling ever from an offensive player. And Joey Spalina's had it for 2 months now. Just gets top side on his guy, finishes through the 5-hole, and Whittam is coming back into the game.
All coming unraveled for the Mimico Mountaineers, who battled back plenty of times in this series. We're down 0-2 to start. Scored in overtime in game 3. Winner, Dudemain in this building, game number 3. One back in Mimico to make it 2-2. And then one night ago. Here's Liam Matthews' night in a nutshell.
This one gets him going, getting in the middle, shooting that underhand shot. Not sure we're going to have time to get through all Matthews' goals. He's got 5, working on a sock trick. We're not quite at the halfway point in this game. Second one, that shows you his explosiveness getting over the top side. This is the explosiveness getting underneath. And he's got 2 more after that.
Mimico controls the face-off though. Vincent and Tavares running in. Shot taken by the man on the far side. Save made, however, by O'Toole.
This is the hard part now for Mimico because they obviously need to try to create looks in transition. That's a pretty good look by Roussel, but now more time that their best players aren't on the floor. We haven't called Finn's name and Dudemain's name much in this period.
Oh, heads up. Whittam's going to go here.
Bad to worse here for Mimico.
Trey Deer looking for that sneak attack play down inside the post. He's just going to leave it in the corner as Deer took a big chop from the big stick of Whittam. This is about as worst case scenario as you could get if you're a fan of the double blue, unfortunately.
So they're going to have to get somebody to serve it here. We're getting pretty close to must save now.
Sure.
You know, if Mimico's going to come back, it can't be much more than 13.
They have been a comeback team throughout this playoffs,
Sure.
especially in the third period, but 6 is a big ask against this Orangeville team.
That's a good save. Pretty much identical to Matthews' last goal here.
Want to thank Empire Communities and Scotiabank for helping support this Ontario Junior Lacrosse League final series, as well as their friends from Gatorade outside. Thompson got a rip, a rebound, Dudemain, and yet again it's a rebound that leads to a Mimico goal.
It's going to take more like that. Again, we haven't seen games be this high scoring, but we haven't for the most part seen Mimico at 7 halfway through the game either. So it's going to take more plays like this. Now 2 short-handed goals in the game. Thompson gets it, and again, it's about the little plays, no box out on Dudemain, who scores, brings it back to 6. Again, it's all about it's all relative now. If you're Mimico and you can get this back to 3 by the intermission, you feel great about yourselves.
Second shorty of the night for the Mountaineers. Power play continues, the 4th one of the game for Orangeville. Hidden ball play, bounces between
Look for Deer to Matthews here. Matthews is feeling it. I would expect him to be a shooter.
Deer was on top spot, Spalina down in the crease. We always say look for the guy out of position though.
Yep.
Down to Jackman, Spalina wants it back again. Jackman's gonna be the guy to shoot. And Whittam grabs it.
Yeah, it's an important save for Whittam there. Jackman had a lot of room, just not quite good enough angle. Let's look out here.
Spalina intercepts the pass and long, headed right down Broadway. Back to Spalina on the rebound, and Whittam's gonna stop that too.
Boy, remember that one. Remember that one if Mimico can get back. That is a massive sequence from Whittam as Spalina takes the risk sliding up floor, but makes a play.
Angus McDonnell stopped here by Pack, and then turned right into Edwards, taken down. Arm of the official goes high. McIsaac to Waters. Thompson wide open, takes it to the cage. And the save from O'Toole ran through the crease. That'll be the stoppage that takes away the Orangeville power play.
Boy, what a save by O'Toole there. Thompson wide open. This is the play. So Spalina causes the turnover. Long takes the first one. Nice save with him. Comes right to Spalina. And then another nice save in the 5-hole. So now Mimico will be 4-on-4 for 9 seconds. And then have the power play after that. So they should wait here, I would expect. Looks like they're going to go to work. Orangeville doesn't know that they're even right now.
Moran Weeks to Thompson to Dudamine. That one off the foot of Ciapera.
Boy, good eat, don't rub it. Ciapera taking that one.
Roussel up top to Lee. Behind his back, Roussel does the same to Thompson. Now they switch. Justin Lee up top. Dudamine shoots. Forced a little wide off the stick, perhaps, of Ciapera. Trey Deer picked up the ball right at the door, wanted to reset, shakes everybody out. He's done it again.
This starts with the hustle. The hustled Aiden Long getting to the bench, lets Deer just pick it up right outside the door. Chiguri has to basically fly back like that. And then, I mean, we're out of words, Matty, to describe the bag of tricks that kid has around the goal. If you're trying,
score a regular one, I dare you.
If you're trying to understand the crease rules in summer lacrosse, stop trying.
But at the same time, I mean, the walking highlight reel that is Trey Deer. Real close there for Tavares. He was looking at the official, not going to save him. Edwards back to Bowen. Trey Deer's got his arms way high. So does Phil Sanderson. They want to slow it down.
Tavares was wide open there. Hobbs just had a little bit of a hook in his stick, it looked like. Bad timing is the lead now at 7.
Look at the misplay down in the left corner as live action is now full screen. Trey Deer from the outside. Ha! Challenge accepted, I guess.
He's so dangerous in these situations. Gets 2 shorties on 1 power play. Not much to say there. Obviously one you want back from the Mimico side, and he's saying, let me hear you.
Dean George put his face in his hands, let out a big exhale. After that one went in, 15-7. Shorthanded goal for Trey Deer.
And now another face-off win. So Mimico, this power play, an opportunity for them to get back in the game when the lead is at 5. It gets to 7. Excuse me, it gets to 8.
I think they like Trey Deer in this barn. What do you think, Donnie?
Why wouldn't they? A special playoff run.
Matthews looking 5-hole. Next one's a sock trick. And there are just way too many weapons on this night on that home bench. Thompson down to Moran Weeks. 7 left here in the period. Back across Roussel. Thompson on the crease.
And look out, there's someone leaking behind.
Batted
for
aside
Orangeville.
by the left arm.
They can get it there.
See a pair of nifty move. And of course it's Trey Deer behind everybody. Kerrigan got up the floor quickly, however. Here's Teeple. And Deer. Penalty has expired. We're back to 5-on-5.
Yeah, you can hear Dean George yelling pressure, so obviously Mimico's got to try to turn the pace up as there's that same move from Sanderson.
Then Whittam from the top rope. They're going to call him for a penalty for rough for piling on. And then Trey Deer over in the corner. Look out. What's going on at the top of the screen? McDonald. Now Lee wants a piece of Spalina. Trey Deer and the Orangeville offense starting to heat up, but so are the tempers on a frustrating night for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, and how many times can we say bad to worse here for Mimico? That same up underneath move. Boy, I'm not sure on that one, Matty. It looked to me like Whittam kind of fell over him, but either way, a big advantage, another power play coming here. I mean, Mimico scored twice short-handed, so
yeah, but so
anything can happen.
So did Trey Deer, and did so in 40 seconds back-to-back.
Yeah, at least 4 shorties in this game.
Here's a look at the work of number 91.
So this is the first one on the quick reset. Going to get Tagari there on a really just tough approach. Goes for the twister. And then the second one is just going to be a shot from far out. And when it's going in, it's going in.
Trey Deer, Liam Matthews, if you're wondering, not one of the 2 of the 28 21-year-olds in this game. They'll be back with the Hornheads next year.
I can't believe they're back for Orangeville. It feels like these guys have been leading the way for Orangeville forever.
Matthews and Deer already, I would think. Don't know what the cool bid odds are for that, for MVP, but don't think they're allowed to exist. However, you would think Deer and Matthews would be high up there.
Not sure what the call was there. I think
shot clock reset inadvertently, I believe.
Yep.
So the ball will go back in the stick of Jordan Vincent. Under 6 to play here in just the second period. One man in the box. It's on the side of Mimico. This will be the 5th power play for Orangeville. Mimico does have 2 shorthanded goals, however. Mark Waters from the outside. Fed that through just as Bowen was getting lit up, and then Dudemain.
Pack's going to let Deer take the breakaway here. Kuznetsov.
And Whittam stopped it.
Yeah, Mimico's got to try to get some
anything.
Some momentum going, just some order too. You know, you can't just take crazy chances here. You got to just try to chip away if you can.
And I think there's too much time on the clock to try and just get out of the period.
Yeah.
Matthews down to Horseman. Liam Matthews behind his back to Jackman. No shot. He turns and does it anyways. Ran through the crease, it looked like. He's going to let the ball bounce to Matthews as a result.
Yeah, it's blood in the water for Orangeville. You can feel it. The Arrow guys feel it. Everyone's pressing.
More than blood at this point. It's a whole bunch of chum.
Yep.
Outside Matthews. Off of Whittam. Matthews fell over at the end of the shot. And
another penalty coming here to Mimico.
might have had help.
Orangeville should just take this clock down at this point.
Look out, Matthews. First penalty expired, and Vincent was the extra guy. Here's Spalina outside. Back in front, I believe, looking for Owen Ron. It'll be a slashing call.
Other way.
15-7, another penalty here to Mimico.
I bumped the score camera, people. Sorry if I I knocked it out. Lost my footing.
I was going to let it go. Just pretend.
I nudged it.
Pretend it was part of the packed house.
Sorry for the chaos here. I don't have the fancy footwork of the guys on the floor right now.
Spalina behind his back, Horseman. Joey Spalina right down, again, Broadway, which I don't know if the party's going to stretch that far if they can hang on to this lead, but might be all over Orangeville tonight. Horseman, Spalina, half the city's already here. Trey Deer walking in, and that's off the foot cap of Whittam. Ball back to Horseman. He got in front of Vincent, and Sanderson will slow it down.
Yep, another great loose ball play there by Bowie Horseman.
Deer and Spalina Playing catch up top, Vincent. Not going to let him shoot. He does anyways and still scores.
Matthews has 5, and now Spalina has 5. And we're running out of ways to say that he is just having one of the great playoff runs we've seen in recent memory. And what a way to end it off in this game. As 16-7 now, a score I don't think even the most diehard of fans could have predicted tonight.
I don't think there's a pea meal in the world that's going to save this one. It's going to take a miracle and a lot of prayers at the intermission if you're a fan of the Mimico Mountaineers. Still not done, 23 minutes left, but it has been all Orangeville, especially here in the second period. Matthews, cross to Sanderson. Sanderson pulls it back. Up top, Jackman through traffic, and it's in once again.
Again, Matty, not a lot to say at this point, right? Just continued outstanding shooting from the Northmen. And sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. Tonight it's going in for Orangeville.
Tavares and Spalina, a bit of shoving off that draw. Dante Bowen comes down with the ball back here for Ciapera. Deer off the bench to Joey Spalina, who may not be content with just 5 here tonight. Anything Matthews can do, he can do better, perhaps. Here this evening, shoots on the run. That didn't miss by much. Back up to Teeple, trying to save the shot clock, and look out, that one sails up.
Crowd on its feet, though, for on its toes, rather, for that ball. As this is the first 5-on-5 set, it feels like we've seen Mimico play in like 45 minutes of real time. So an opportunity to finally get some momentum back.
Dudemain from the outside shoots. Worth mentioning as well, Mimico had some injuries coming into this playoff, into this series, and this is the first time going back-to-back we've seen them absolutely gassed. They've had to use the exact same lineup basically all 7 games.
Yeah, we mentioned at the top of the show, but a couple fresh bodies coming in for Orangeville. I think that's certainly helped. As Poirier taking an O shift here, that's just so he can do exactly what he's doing right now, cut the break.
And Matthews will walk in, shoot low on Whittam, and that one's stuck in the pads.
So I think you're already starting to see Orangeville move into protect the lead mode, and why wouldn't you, obviously, given the score? So expect to see several D guys out there playing offense with the only job of cutting the break.
And, of course, with the stakes on the line, a trip out west. Thompson shoots around his screen, and he's trying to get his fans back involved.
A seeing eye shot here from Finn Thompson. One of the best, if not the best, to wear this jersey. And he's not going to go down without a fight. Takes a little pick from Roussel and just ropes it back to the short side. You mentioned try to get the fans back. That gets the lead back to 9. Going to take, obviously, several more for Mimico to have a run in this game.
Spalina back at the draw. That's Jake playing it back to Teeple. One of the best to wear the Mimico jersey. I don't know. There was a guy who wore number 3, was pretty good back in the day.
That's not a conversation in my opinion. He's done it for better and longer. And just the numbers. I mean, all these guys. Spalina, 140 points or something like that this season, and Finn leading the league in scoring several times, getting well north of 100 points several times. Something that a lot of guys never touch in a career.
Outside shot from McDonnell, bounces right back to Long. Owen Ron in behind everybody, transition coming again. And Whittam made the stop and then jumped into Ron. Initiated contact.
Yeah, Whittam's got to come to the bench now. They need the 6-on-5. No timeout, remember, for Mimico because they took it at the start of the...
but we got an extra ball on the floor. That's going to give Whittam a chance to get out there. Rusty Kruger giving it to Nate Whittam on his way by. He didn't like the fact that he went to take a shot on Ron. Thompson and Dudemain playing catch here in the final set. It is 6-on-5. Dudemain shoots past his screen, and O'Toole will pick it up.
That's empty.
T-pole, long range, just wide, and we got a couple conversations at the horn.
I thought we were going to see O'Toole try for the net again. What I'm quite sure would be the first goalie goal of the OJLL Finals.
Extra whistles here. We're just making sure everybody goes their separate ways.
Yeah, Mimico's going to their locker room, and O'Toole's still on the floor. So that's the only concern for Orangeville.
And I think that's a conversation with Teeple right now, saying we got to hold up, but why do they get to go? But anyways, all Northmen here through the second period. They lead 17-8 in game number 7 of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Finals. Brought to you by Empire Communities, Scotiabank, and fueled by Gatorade. Third period. Perhaps the victory lap. We'll see what it's got in store coming up in 10 minutes. Back live at Tony Rose Arena. Orangeville Northmen perhaps 20 minutes away, 17-8, and they did so with a 10-goal second period, although it was started by Alex Roussel, graduating player here for Mimico, and then Jonathan, all Northmen.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, you've missed a lot. And if you took 20 minutes off there, you missed a whole lot there. There's Matthews, then Deer over the top.
Mimico would get another
or
one.
Spallina over the top, excuse me. Mimico ties it up, and then from here, it's pretty much Orangeville the rest of the way. Elijah Edwards, juice goal right off the faceoff to steal that momentum right back. Had a very nice playoffs here for Orangeville. Then Matthews gets another one, getting around his man. Step back, that's on Adam Power. This is another one for Matthews, side seal. Into a twister. Spallina is going to get another one here. Just getting top side on his man, shooting on the run. After that, Lucas Dudeman gets one back, short-handed here for Mimico off the rebound, continuing a ridiculous run here throughout the playoffs for him. And then Trey Deer goes to work on the short-handed goal. That sick twister in transition. This one, obviously, from pretty far out, finds a way to get it go. And then Spallina and Jackman add two more after that. Finn Thompson finishes it off for Mimico.
Perhaps 20 minutes away. 10 goals off 28 shots in that second period for the Orangeville Northmen. Mimico 4 off 13. They've scored 4 in each period here in this game, which the way this finals had gone, you would think should be enough. However, when your opposition puts up 10 in a period and it's a race to 10, that seems like a lot. But still 20 minutes left to go.
Got to be pretty much full shot clock mode now for Orangeville the rest of the way. You know, nothing really matters as much as the time does.
Outside Roussel. You kind of wonder what the conversation was like inside the Mimico room. If it was one of those heads up social media. One of those nobody says anything because they know what either needs or doesn't need to be said. You wonder who does the talking. If it's perhaps Tanner Thompson taking center floor, perhaps one of the 21-year-olds.
I think the message has to be this, both to get back into this game and also just in life. An incredible run for these guys, regardless of what the final outcome is. A lot of these guys have played together their whole careers. The message has to be, let's go play hard for 20 more minutes, right? We get 20 more minutes together as a team. Let's go play hard and be proud of our effort. Let the chips fall where they may. That's got to be the message for Mimico. The reality is they need a ton of goals, and they need them starting pretty soon.
You think of the community support as well. Obviously, Orangeville getting it every time they play in this building. A bunch of Mimico fans traveling up and making noise here this evening as they've done all through the playoffs. Jackman gets pushed out wide. Trey Deer over the top of a big hit behind the play. Jackman slow getting off.
Yeah, you mentioned it, but really the gold standard, I think, both of these organizations in terms of fan support. Just a night that nobody, I think, in this building will ever forget here. Obviously, for Mimico, in the short term, it's going to be one you want to forget, but in the long term, you know, hopefully for these players, again, as that's going to be a 5-minute power play, so it's going to get even harder here. Going to get more difficult before it gets easier for the Mountaineers.
I think probably message being sent here, so things don't get a little stupid as we head into what could be a victory lap here for the Orangeville Northmen. Joey Spallina and Matthews have had impressive, incredible nights here tonight. Joey Spallina only his second season of Junior A box. And Sanderson gets hit up high with Cole Begley. Are they taking Sanderson off too
Yeah,
now?
they're taking both.
And Spalina's going to walk over and tell the youngster, just go sit and don't worry about it.
So we'll see if we stay 4-on-3 or 5-on-4. Spalina gets a shot on Segura, and then Begley obviously comes in, gets him up high.
Looked like straight 10s from Ian Garrison. We saw a couple dimes handed out last night. One to Finn Thompson.
So because it's those 10 minutes, like good call by you, Maddie, because it's the 10 minutes, it's going to be 5-on-4 still. Begley and Sanderson are going to have to sit for at least 10.
Sanderson getting looked at in the penalty box. Matthews and Spalina giving back to Horseman. Spalina through traffic.
Yeah, McDonnell's going to fly on every one of these, so is Vincent.
And the bouncer through O'Toole. How about a pair for Jordan Vincent, who's had himself a pretty good final series?
I mean, at this point, maybe Mimico should keep taking penalties. It seems to be the most reliable way to goals as Vincent gets his second shorty of the game here. Got the scoring started for Mimico early in the game. Has another one there. Had 7 goals in the playoffs coming into this game. Will leave with at least 9 and still 17 minutes to play here.
Spalina at the face-off dot. That one bounced past both Angus McDonnell and Dante Bowen. McDonnell eventually did recover. Gives back to Taguri at center. If you're Mimico, you definitely, like you said, have to play out the 20 minutes. There's a lot of proud 21-year-olds on that bench. Their entire offense.
And they're scoring too. That's the crazy thing, is they're on a faster pace tonight than they have been really all series. As Dudeman gets a good look.
And he's going to draw another penalty. Lucas Dudeman feels like when he gets the wheels rolling.
Yeah, he's a real challenge.
It's either in the back of the net or it's in the penalty box.
So obviously some momentum now, a little bit of momentum for Mimico. It's been hard to come by in these last 2 periods. So 4-on-4 here. Interestingly, Whittam's going back in. Would it be crazy to pull him right now, try to take the power play at 4-on-4?
No, I don't think so.
I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, you need every trick in the book, and you need the sequel and the trilogy in order to come back in this game, I think.
Yeah.
And like I said, you've got a lot of proud 21-year-olds, and you owe it to the team to try everything you got. Thompson in the corner. Lee shoots off the side of the net. Brought down by Long. Will Whittam get there? It's a foot race. Long hauled down and wide. Was he clean and clear? It's going to be a trip, but no penalty shot. And if that was a clean breakaway, that would be an automatic goal, I believe, with the goaltender out.
I don't think this should be an automatic goal because Whittam could have still dove to get there. So I'm not sure if maybe my understanding of the rule is incorrect, but it seems to me that the power play or that the regular penalty is the right call. The question is if it's a penalty shot or not.
Well, if it's a penalty shot with the goalie out, but then as you're saying, what constitutes goalie out?
Finn is actually yelling at the ref to give them a penalty shot because whatever's going to happen, Mimico would rather have it sooner.
Right, well, they've got 3 guys in the box, although one of them's a misconduct, so the next penalty would be a penalty shot. And I don't know who would come out because the first penalty in there is a major.
Maddie, we've been so busy. I told you I took the OJLL rulebook off my nightstand.
Yeah?
Sorry to say it hasn't made its way back.
No, okay. Gonna have a lot of time for reading after tonight. Actually, you won't. You're headed on the plane regardless of what happens. Spalina to Matthews, part of a all-star media cast as well. Out there in Coquitlam, we're gonna turn it over to the Minto Cup crew following tonight's game. Isaiah Moran-Weeks, one-on-one with Horseman. Stops up and shoots wide and over and back. And look out, Trey Deer is looming again, and again he's stopped one-on-one by Whittam.
He's going with the super slow-mo, the Kuznetsov.
Yeah, it's going to look better on social.
I'm
why.
not sure it's always helping him in these scenarios. But, I mean, if you had to guess, Trey Deer was going to have at least 2 breakaways where he could go in walking speed to the goal in this game.
Right.
You know, before the game, you would think you're crazy, but just sports has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. I'm not saying Orangeville winning is a surprise, but just this margin. Obviously a surprise. And Spalina putting the finishing touches on one of the great playoff runs, one of the great Ontario seasons of all time.
I'm not wearing socks, but if I were, they'd be on the floor right now in support of Joey Spalina, and a tremendous game tonight. 9 points and counting for number 22, and perhaps some hardware at the end of the game.
Yeah, so another power play scenario. They're trying to get it figured out here. I think.
So the one that made them short would be the Finn Thompson goal. But if you've already started taking penalties off a major, you have to keep doing it. But I don't think we had a goal, so this should be Thompson that comes out. And the clock, yes, did it correctly. So we're back to 4-on-4.
4-on-4, and it's going to be Northmen power play again in 30 seconds. So that 5-minute kind of looming large here.
My rule book, firmly planted under the pillow, right where it should be. Check it every night.
We got to get new hobbies after this OJLL series is over, Matty. Touch grass, see the sunshine.
You will find me at the cottage, but I'd prefer if you didn't. That's what's happening. Jordan Vincent all the way down to the crease. Shot from Tavares, just wide. Cole Teeple going to take the outside lane on Thompson, who's back out there, but was kind of working on another minor penalty, it looked like, and that's got the fan section a little bit upset. Big high step from the outside from Trey Deer. Bouncing, over and back, shot clock violation, take your pick. Ball going to go back to Mimico. And by the way, we should talk about Cam Asenza, Ryan Steins, Henry Campaniti, Ethan Brown, those Nicholas Volkov, those graduating players, part of Mimico, not in this game here tonight. Been big parts of the Mimico season, either this one or previously, and unfortunately going to come to an end in a golf shirt.
Yeah, it takes playoffs are a grind, Matty. It's a war of attrition. Injuries happen. You know, these guys played 20 hours ago. And just what a grind to get through. Ontario is a meat grinder unlike any other, and only one team's going to stand at the end.
Jackman perhaps wanting revenge for taking that hit earlier. Spalina off the shot prior to that, not happy with 6. He wants spot in the record books perhaps. Jackman.
Yeah, now they're going to hold it because the penalty is going to expire here. So Mimico will finally get back to 5-on-5. As there's a look at Liam Matthews, who's had more juice than anybody in this game with his stick on his knees here. These guys have played a ton of lacrosse this summer.
Matthews out for game number 4. Down in Mimico. Him and Aiden Long did get back in there. They've had guys kind of in and out the whole way. Have Orangeville.
There comes Whittam, so 6-on-5.
They're going to go extra attacker.
They're going to have to get deep in. I'll let the 6-on-5 go here.
Thompson looking for Waters. This ball is going to skip off the far boards back to Moran Weeks. Now Thompson again. Quick shot from Roussel. Oh man, we heard that bounce off the foot of Ciapera.
What a play by Ciapera. What a gutsy play.
How many of those has he made here in this final series?
Yeah, you wonder how you get to see of a legendary organization like this, plays like that, a good example.
Goodness. And he is hopping around over on the bench. I bet you he doesn't miss a shift.
I was going to say the point about Matthews. I got to get into Wamper's Bible to clarify, but Ontario Finals Game 7 scores 5 goals and isn't the leading goal scorer on his team. I mean, I can't imagine that is a long list of guys.
Well, Whittam's going to jog off again. Yep. Game 7, why not throw everything in the kitchen sink? Picked off, though, but as they went for the crease pass. It's Aiden Long that brings it down.
Curious again, by the way, does Lyndon Hill get a look here?
I was wondering the same.
You know, you start to look towards a Minto Cup that's coming soon, right? These teams are going to play next Saturday, so
I was
trying to travel probably Thursday, Friday. Game starts Saturday, so you don't have much time.
I was more thinking the fact that a 21-year-old in this building had a good season.
Yeah.
Him and Zach Richards kind of shared that crease until the trade deadline.
Sure.
Then it became Connor O'Toole's, but I think given that, you allow O'Toole to just stand there and share the crease as everybody comes streaming off that bench in perhaps 10 minutes and 25 seconds. Finn Thompson, the outside shot, hits nothing and is an over and back violation. Told you this Mimico offense are all 21 years old too. Alex Roussel, Isaiah Moran-Weeks, Justin Lee, Mark Waters, Finn Thompson, Lucas Dudemain. So they will have a fair amount of returning players. As we thank Empire Communities, Scotiabank, and Gatorade for helping support this Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Final Series. On the run, Thompson, stripped from behind. Taguri's going to pick this up at the wall as he ran away from Siapera, who I told you would be back out before too long.
6-on-5 coming again here as Whittam continues the jogs to the bench.
Thompson back door. Shot there. O'Toole makes the save, still rolling around. No one in blue can go in there to touch it. And it didn't get far enough.
By the way, we talk about, guys getting ready to play a Minto Cup next weekend. Angus McDonnell getting ready for an OHL season.
An OHL season, pretty soon. Yeah. And of course, the number of guys who are getting ready to go back to school fairly soon. Aiden Long from a long way out. Bryden Pitt. Trailer is Tavares who scores. The future is bright in Mimico. Justin Tavares completes the hat trick.
There's a couple hats actually being thrown on the floor now.
I don't think you're getting that one back tonight.
Yeah, do those get donated? What?
Again.
What happens from here?
Those two and the Hobbs stick.
I mean, cuts it down to 8. I like to say a lot that it doesn't. That we've seen crazier things. This 8 goals in 8 minutes would certainly be.
I like the move to get the wipe down crew to come out and pick up the hats too. Which gives us a chance to thank some more people, including Gary Morrison, who puts everything together for the JVI Sports Network, coordinating crew.
So you get there.
Kids are trying to throw it back.
There we go.
The crowd's telling them not to. They'll learn. They'll learn.
They throw it right back on the floor.
Yeah. And the head ref's seen enough. Fans appreciate that one headed to the back pages of eBay later tonight. Hey, if it was his father's, that could be worth some coin. I don't think it was, but oh, look out here. Jake Spalina wins the faceoff back towards O'Toole. Pack picked it up and they call it back in. Finn Thompson outside on the reset. He shoots, gets knocked down. Roussel in on O'Toole, and look out. Teeple down floor. Whittam gets back. What a save. Sometimes they've been hard to come by tonight, but that's a good one right there. Thompson to Roussel over the top. Stop that fells O'Toole. Whittam not going anywhere this time. Siapera notices, and he's going to pull out. 8-goal lead for the Orangeville Northmen with 8 minutes left to play. Finn Thompson staying on the floor, back to our left. Triple team for Trey Deer. Where have we seen this before? And ball just bounces away. I don't know how many family members Trey Deer has here tonight. It's a bunch. They have appreciated his efforts, a hat trick and a couple points to go with that. Bowen had eyes for transition. Bounces out of his stick, but Nate Ruff is going to come down and pot the dagger.
Now the Orangeville's won the Ontario Championship 1993, 1995, 1996, 2000, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2012, 2016, 2019, and it certainly seems in 2024 as well. As Nate Ruff, one of the fastest players in the league, puts in, don't know if you could call it an insurance goal. I think we passed that threshold a few goals ago, but adds another one to the list here, as we're 7.5 away from raising another banner in this building.
There are some long faces and some soul searching happening on that bench right there, right now. As Mimico look for their first OLA championship since coming back as a Junior A franchise in 2014. Came about 40 minutes within touching that trophy, but looks like it's not going to be here tonight. Nate Ruff scoring unassisted. He is a 21-year-old, and Owen Ron comes in and works transition again.
And a 20 spot now as Ron gets in on the scoring. Been a really useful player for the Northmen in this series, really in this playoffs. The other guys get a lot of the attention. Ron, one of many that really helps open things up for them. 12 games coming into this, so 13 tonight, 8 goals, 5 assists coming in, and a big one there.
Being told prior to the Ruff goal, our replay system crashed. I don't know if it's because it's so hot in here or Orangeville just put it out of commission with the number of goals that have gone in. 20 to Mimico's 10. We told you it's a race to 10 in this series. That was good enough in games 1 through 6. Not tonight. Liam Matthews, he wants his sock trick, although Whittam not going to oblige.
You know, Matty, adversity builds character, it also reveals it. And everyone knew last year that this Northman team was undefeated, and obviously that Ontario Finals last year did not go their way, as Moran Weeks is going to take a penalty. A massive credit to these players for bouncing
100%.
back. And Moran Weeks, I think, is going to be done for the night here.
Yep. An early end to his junior career, and a high cross check on Zach Poirier. Trey Deer feeling it. He walks beside us, nodding to the crowd. They're going to applaud every call that goes Orangeville's way from here down the stretch, as they feel like they're 6 minutes and 37 seconds away I was trying to count them up as you were listing them, Donnie. The 11th Ontario Championship.
If you're wondering, Mimico was looking for their first since 1951. So a Junior B franchise for several years, came back.
Sure.
Really the dream of Sean O'Callahan and a few others to bring the program back in 2015. Lucky to go to that Minto Cup in 17, although we didn't win Ontario that year. And another step forward, obviously, for this Mimico program, but the end of an era for several reasons, and the biggest one is the last name Thompson.
Spalina's outside shot off Whittam. And here is the latest Thompson to wear the C in Mimico. Wants an outside shot. It looked like it fooled O'Toole a little bit. But he does make the catch. He's going to dig deep. Get that one out of the left shin pad.
So a 5-minute penalty on Moran Leaks, by the way. So Orangeville will have the advantage here pretty much through the end of the game.
5 minutes high sticking and a 10-minute misconduct. Thank everyone for tuning in live tonight. We are over 4,000 live viewers. Thanks to Empire Communities and Scotiabank and Gatorade as well for helping us through this Ontario Junior Lacrosse League final series.
Yeah, we really appreciate folks letting us into their living rooms too. We've had a tremendous year. It's been really fun being most of all these games with you, Maddie, and people watch, people care, and that's that's why we do this. And thank you for letting us be a part of your summer. What an outstanding summer it's been of lacrosse action here, as Mimico's going to get the reset.
Yeah, and it's really opened up on social media. People sending us messages and comments, or seeing us in-house and telling us they appreciate the work or they don't appreciate our work, one or the other. But it's been great getting to know some of the families and fans all across, really North America, as a bunch of our U.S. fans have reached out as well. Jaden Ciapera going off here. I think Dante Bowen as well. An illegal cross-check to Bowen and a slashing call against Ciapera, still with 3:15 left to go in the Moran Weeks Major.
So 5-on-4. I think they blew this in before Whittam was to the bench here. They should stay Mimico ball.
They've got 1:55 and 4:55.
And they're going to give Mimico too many men here because Whittam was still on the floor. They hadn't pulled him yet, and they already had the guys out there.
He was in the blue paint making it look like they were going to start, and then when the whistle was blown, walked back towards the crease. So
yeah,
Bowen's cross-check was a 5-minute major.
Again, just trying to limit the limit whatever's going to happen here at the end of the game, I think.
By the way, Dante Bowen, one of those 21-year-olds, along with Cole Teeple, Colin Barnett, Nate Ruff, who scored tonight. Brian Jackman, both goaltenders, Lyndon Hill and Connor O'Toole. Cameron Pack, Bowie Horseman, trade deadline acquisition, and of course Joey Spalina capping a 2-year career. There are some guys that play 5 and don't put up the numbers that Joey Spalina put in 2 years here in the OLA.
Just a remarkable achievement for an American player to lead the OJ in scoring, lead the OJ playoffs in scoring. And this is
penalty
shot. It's gonna be a penalty shot.
Illegal cross-check called on Aiden McDonnell, and they've already got 2 guys in the box, so can't go down more than 2 guys, which will be a penalty shot here in this game. And who's your pick?
We'll see if they pick one of their regular O guys or maybe give a D guy a chance.
Deer's already been stopped twice.
I see Poirier starting to walk out. There you go.
What is this going to be?
4 games played in the playoffs for Zach Poirier. Has not scored a point yet.
Crowd realizing what's happening here.
Gotta go with a little more pace, I think.
One-on-one Poirier, couple of moves, and high and off the shoulder of Whittam. Trade deadline acquisition in the offseason was Poirier, one of those youngsters in that massive St. Catharines athletic draft from 2 years ago.
Yeah, nice save by Whittam here. I guarantee you, Zach Poirier did not think he was going to get a penalty shot tonight.
I mean, Spalina's already got 6.
Spalina's got 6, Matthews got 5, and Mimico's got 10. So, do that quick math. That's pretty good.
Right there. Well, that'll even it up, at least as those two are concerned. Unfortunately, 9 others have gone in for Orangeville as Roussel scores.
Yeah, his second of the night. I believe he said earlier he came in with 7 goals, came into this game with 8, so that'll bring his playoff total to at least 10. And you're going to see him take the face-off, too, just a do-it-all player. You know, we talk a lot about the here and now with these playoff series, and we should. These guys are playing for championships. They're playing to cement their legacy status in these towns. But as we look towards the future, you know, a lot of these guys are going to play in the NLL. A lot of these guys are going to have bright futures in the game of lacrosse. So,
how many beer cans do you think Finn Thompson's going to sign?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah, if Great Lakes Brewing thought they had a successful run in the last one, they have the opportunity to upgrade significantly on the next run.
Aiden Long lost his man, lost the ball in the process and steps in the crease. 11 goals for Mimico tonight. 6 of them from graduating players. The 5 that aren't, the hat trick from Tavares and Jordan Vincent's 2 shorthanded transition markers, to give you a sense of how this team runs.
That 11 ties their series high as well for goals. So it's just been a frustrating night.
Yeah.
You be around this game long enough, you know, sometimes these games happen. I've been on both sides of them, and they're pretty. They're obviously pretty tough as a losing team, because to know that you didn't give your best, I think, is sometimes harder than you know, knowing that you gave your best and it just wasn't quite good enough. But you know, Mimico's going to feel like this is a bit of a bad dream, and for Orangeville, this is the dream.
Right.
This is the dream they've been dreaming of since they were young kids. Many of these players growing up in this association. Sure. You grew up in some places, you dream of playing the NLL, you dream of playing college lacrosse. You grew up in Orangeville, you dream of winning titles in this barn.
Right. Well, and as disappointing as you said it is for Mimico, if you're on the side of Orangeville, they put up 20 in an elimination game in a series that didn't have a lot of offense.
Sure. And
they kind of rolling on all cylinders, you would think, as there's a juggernaut headed to Coquitlam and making a statement to the rest of the country.
Yeah. I think, you know, obviously they're very talented, but that's the other advantage the Ontario teams have, is such a hard road just to get there, that now this Orangeville team will get some wind in their sails. Going to have to turn it around quickly. Again, the Minto's coming this week, so these guys will have to try to get their bodies rested, try to get the logistics sorted out. Orangeville's obviously experienced at going to Minto Cup, so they'll get the logistics worked out. As I'm not sure that's a great call on Finn Thompson. This is going to be another penalty shot.
I was going to say, first time we're seeing Graydon Stokes. Yeah, it looks like the check is into the helmet, though.
Is it going to be Graydon Stokes coming out for the penalty shot?
With the Woody?
Does Poirier take it again? Who's it going to be? Brian Jackman. Yeah, the Mimico players are unaware. This is a penalty shot.
Yeah, so Jackman rushed out to take it.
And it is going to be Stokes.
And it is not with the Woody.
Okay. So here we go. Graydon Stokes getting his chance.
They're starting to rise in the seats, come out to the glass to bang on it.
Stokes, another player, 4 games played in these playoffs, 0 points. Looking to put his name on the ledger in what will go down as a legendary effort here by the Northmen.
Get ready if this thing goes in. This place is going to go off. And he went for that low corner, and Whittam kicked it out.
A big smile on his face.
I'm sure there's one on Stokes as well.
You know, D guys, Maddie, they don't want to have the eyes on them, right? A good day for a D guy is when no one notices you. It means you did your job. And about 2,000 people, it feels like, we're staring directly at Graydon Stokes there.
2,000 of your closest friends.
Yeah.
4,500 online.
Right.
Yeah. Thompson came out of the box. I don't think he should have. They're trying to sort out which penalty gets canceled and which one goes on the board now.
And it's still going to be 3-on-3 regardless of what happens here.
Make no mistake. I mean, the score line, the way that we're inching to the finish line here, hats off to both teams. This has been an incredible series. All 6 games previous to this one, tremendous. And then, of course, the effort offensively for Mimico tonight, like you said, their best showing here out of the previous 6 games. And what can you say that hasn't been said about the Orangeville Northmen? Justin Lee to the outside. He's out there with Taguri and Waters. As O'Toole will make another stop. Too much on the side of Cole Tipo. Penalty box door opening. Siapera getting ready to rejoin. Dudemain out there now as Taguri shoots on O'Toole and an extra save.
Poirier is going to hit the showers early here. Not sure why the whistle came. Mimico still had the ball, but I think just wanted to nip that in the bud.
Stop that before it started. And it should just be a straight 10. As Poirier gets saluted off the floor here.
Yeah, I think Poirier probably wants that back. Just won't have an opportunity to run with the guys in from the bench.
Sure.
But obviously trying to make sure this thing doesn't get out of hand. I think a good call, and including the fact that there's so many people in the building.
Dudemain took it to the corner, flips back up top for Waters. Outside shot, and O'Toole he's just racking up stat saves here now in the dying minutes of this game in this series and the Ontario season. Our thanks to Mark Grimes, the commissioner of the OJLL as well, for believing in free lacrosse done by sponsors like Empire Communities, Scotiabank, Gatorade.
If you have the ability to support free streams, do it. We need sponsors, and we're going to get another penalty shot here, unless that's offsetting. Looks like it's going to be offsetting.
They're taking Bryden Pitt and Cameron Pack.
If you have the opportunity to support these streams via sponsorship, if you know someone who does, reach out, get involved. We all love free lacrosse, and if you can continue to help make that happen, it's great for the game.
Roussel bringing it down. Of course, Colleen Grimes a big part of that as well, in putting these productions together and guiding it and helping create a schedule that works for all teams and works for all of us. Dudemain doesn't shoot. Did, and then it was wide. Got the rebound back, but no time left on the shot clock.
Minute and a half now, all but academic here.
I think it's been academic since midway through the second period, if I'm being completely honest.
Right.
But
the second you think you know what's coming in sports is just when you get surprised. And there were some folks who probably expected this to be a sweep. There's some folks who expected a different outcome tonight, and that's why you play the games. And credit to these players, just warriors, Matty. And I feel incredibly grateful, incredibly lucky to have been able to call all these games. Well,
great to have you back. You and I did the circuit 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Not able to do it last year, and I've told you in text, your analysis, you add so much. I mean, you see plays that other people don't. You can explain it. I feel like I learn the games when I'm calling with you, and I've appreciated running the circuit with you yet again. Donville, thanks for coming back, buddy.
Absolutely.
And good luck out west. Enjoy the Minto. It's a ride, and it's good.
Yeah, Minto Cup starting next weekend. Be on Trick Shot, hosted by Coquitlam, all-star broadcasting crew. But enough about that. This is about the men of the Orangeville Northmen, as Finn Thompson.
Already this year took over as the highest scoring Mimico Mountaineer player in their history, and he'll add one more before he takes off the M for the last time.
A legend of the organization, a legend to wear that double blue M. And the Thompson family are one of the first families of lacrosse, in my opinion. 4 sons all went through this program. Tanner, the coach, this year, Finn playing. I've been lucky enough to play with several of them, all of them actually. And speaking of things, I feel incredibly grateful for that opportunity.
3 NLL draft picks, soon to be 4.
Yeah.
As soon as Finn's done at Syracuse, I would think. Hugs already started over on the Orangeville Northmen bench. Camera flash is going off. They're standing here at Tony Rose.
There's nothing on the planet, Matty, like the last couple seconds as the time runs out. There is no feeling ever in your life like that, and these Orangeville Northmen are about to experience just that.
Phones out, fans standing. Mimico gonna play it down to the final 10 seconds with a last shot and another save from a great playoff performance from Connor O'Toole, who's gonna lead the Northmen to the Minto Cup.
Mentioned it earlier, Maddie. How many legends have walked in this building? 1993, 95, 96, 2000, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2012, 2016, 2019, and the 2024 Northmen are the Ontario champions.
It is the standard in this town. When you put that jersey on, they expect greatness. Earlier on in this series, they honored the U9s, who took provincial gold. Starting them early, and it usually culminates in a celebration like this here in this town.
And again, how often have we seen a disappointing playoff last year for Orangeville? These guys have every opportunity to sulk, and they do the exact opposite. They reel off an incredible run, some all-time trade deadline acquisitions headlined by Connor O'Toole. And the Northmen, as has been often the case in the last couple decades, are going back to the Minto Cup.
Connor O'Toole, Dante Bowen, Bowie Horseman, Brian Jackman preceded that. How about Cameron Pack last year as they finally break the huddle and salute the fans. And of course, that's all without talking about guys like Joey Spallina. What a get for Nick Rose prior to last season. Trey Deer as well. 6 goals for Spalina tonight. As now, these teams go to war for 7 games.
Yeah, what a great
tradition. And they'll meet at center.
Yep.
The end of the road for guys like Alex Roussel, Aiden McDonnell, Nicholas Volkov, who couldn't play in this series, Isaiah Moran-Weeks, Justin Lee, Finn Thompson. As you said, next year they're not going to have a Thompson. Tanner told me they're going to have to find some cousins to take over here on this Mimico side. They've had a Thompson in a jersey every year since they came back in 2015. Mark Waters, Lucas Dudemain, Ethan Brown, Cole Begley, Cam Asenza, Ryan Steins, Henry Campanini, the 21-year-olds for this Mimico Mountaineers team.
What a series of lacrosse, Matty. I just feel it's not a whole lot. It's hard to sum up the emotions, right? You see the best moment of these guys' lives on the Orangeville side. One they'll obviously.
Let me tell you, from the moment the teams walked out tonight until final horn,
yeah,
I've had goosebumps basically all night long.
Right. Just a legendary atmosphere in here. There's no other way to put it. And credit to the Mimico fans for traveling in massive numbers, as the Orangeville fans did last night, and just an incredible end to the season.
We are standing by. Bob Cleveley on the floor with the table. The Iroquois trophy will be presented to the Orangeville Northmen if you stay with us, along with the MVP of the final series. The MVP of the playoffs, excuse me. It will include all previous rounds. As we await that announcement, as the teams are, coaching staffs are finishing shaking hands.
Seeing
Nick Rose and Riley Hutchcraft, former Toronto Rock teammates.
Yeah, Jeff Ivey and DJ Cleveley, former Northmen and best friends.
DJ Cleveley, formerly on the bench of the Mountaineers.
For sure.
Once again, we want to thank Empire Communities, Scotiabank, and Gatorade for helping keep this final series free here on YouTube. Bob Cleveley. The wipe down crew has grabbed the flag, which has riled up the fans one more time. I don't think this thing's going to settle down for a couple days here in Orangeville.
No. If there's a traffic jam on the Highway 10 today, we know why.
I'm not leaving for a while, don't worry. Made that mistake last game. As we suspected, Joey Spalina, the playoff MVP, capping it off with a sock trick here this evening.
Came into the playoffs, 31 points coming into this game just in the finals, 73 in the playoffs. Adds at least 6 goals, 9 points tonight.
Video game numbers.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
From a guy who started playing box at this level last year.
It really is one of the more remarkable achievements I've seen, Matty, but no words are needed for what we're going to see next, as Jaden Ciapera, the captain of the Northmen, is going to host that trophy for the first time.
This is what it's all about. As you said, everybody dreams about it. It is one of the most beautiful trophies around, and it is hard to get there. And for the 11th time, it goes to the Orangeville Northmen.
Maddie, we started the season in May. This is our 24th game together, at least 24th this year. What a run.
Once again, happy to do it with you, Jonathan. Enjoy the Minto Cup. Jonathan Donville, part of that great crew, which we now hand over. It'll be the Orangeville Northmen representing Ontario on the back of a 20-12 victory here in game number 7. Our director tonight is Rachel Wolf. Gary Morrison's our producer for the JVI Sports Network. Colleen Grimes for the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. On behalf of them and my partner, Jonathan Donville, thank you for tuning in all season long. Next up, the Minto Cup. Orangeville Northmen are your Ontario champions. I'm Matthew Carrick saying good night from Tony Rose.